If you've ever wondered, how do you actually fit in an entire Charlotte Mason feast into your homeschool without burning the heck out, this video is created for you. Today, I'm showing you how I plan out my entire Charlotte Mason year, our full homeschool timetable, and how I'm scheduling the feast this year using the Alveary for 2026-2027 school year. Stick around until the end because I'm actually going to pull up my timetable and give you a Canva template so you can go create your own. If you're brand new here, my name is Brandi. I'm a full-time working mom. My husband also is involved in our homeschool. I have an 8-year-old that's going into 3rd grade, and I have a 3-year-old that will be starting gentle preschooling this year. If you're with me and you're used to our homeschool room, I am in my office today. One, I want to be able to actually show you my screen and show you my planning process, but then also our homeschool room is getting a total makeover, and I can't wait to do an updated tour of our homeschool room once that is complete. But today it's all about scheduling and timetables. So if you didn't watch my video on our 3rd grade curriculum picks for 2026-2027, you can watch it here. I'll make sure to link that up so you can see fully what we're doing. We are a secular Charlotte Mason homeschooling family, and this year we're really going in on using actual Charlotte Mason curriculum, which we found the Alveary. This will be our first year doing it. We are making it secular. We're still pulling the majority of their content. We don't really have to do anything to, which is really, really nice. But then the question comes up, how do you schedule everything? 1st grade, our schedule went smooth. For our first year homeschooling, it was really smooth. And then we got into 2nd grade, and I don't know what happened. Of course, there's a few more curriculums. We added history, stuff like that. And it was just wonky. Like the first half of the year, we struggled. Then the second half of the year, I went all in on making sure we had a really solid plan that can be sustainable and something that wasn't like everyone dreading. Like they actually enjoyed it. And so we implemented a few things that have really helped our homeschool, but also we're getting the feast done. And so I'm excited because going into this year, as I've been planning, Alveary actually makes it way easier than what I've been doing. So what I'm going to do is show you how I've always done it in the past, but then how we actually plan it out using the Alveary. So when it comes to scheduling everything, I think one thing that I really had to wrap my mind around with Charlotte Mason is they're supposed to be short lessons. And in the beginning of the year, I found myself wanting to go so deep on topics. And I was reading Charlotte Mason, either volume 1 or volume 6. It was one of those. And this quote I wrote down in my commonplace book, and so I'm going to read it off here. But it said, "Our job isn't to teach everything about everything, but to inspire interest that will help children make connections with the world around them." And I was like, okay, I've been trying to teach everything about everything, right? And that's not our job. Our job is to introduce, create relations, and so they can make connections. And so this year, we're really going to stick to the times that are provided for each subject. And if there's an area that we want to go deeper in, we can do that. That's why we have weekends. We only don't have to do school Monday through Friday. But if my daughter's super into something, we can schedule that for the weekend. But I really want to use our visual timers and be using those so we can move through our day with ease. And that's been going really, really well for us since January. And so we're going to be taking that into the new year. So I will say that is one thing is I have just learned that it's not my job to teach everything about every subject. It's my job to introduce. And then if we want to go deeper, we can. And so as I was planning it out, how I've always done this, and it's a great trick is, especially because we were pulling from lots of different curriculums. If you've watched my 2nd grade curriculum pick, you'll know we used a lot of different curriculums. And so for me to figure out what our days looked like, I would take Post-it notes. I had so many Post-it notes. And I would write every subject, every curriculum that we were doing. And I would have just Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday on a chalkboard. And I would go through and put them, and I would move it around and kind of guesstimate what was the best plan for us. And it worked, but there was way more moving. One thing that the Alveary has really helped me do this year is be able to visually see it in a digital format. I like the digital aspect. The Post-it notes totally works too, but I want to show you this really cool thing that the Alveary has. Because the first thing when we are planning out our Charlotte Mason year, it's got to be what are all the subjects that we're going to do, right? What are those areas that we're going to focus on? And so when I got into the Alveary, they have this dynamic planning tool, which was really cool. So instead of my Post-it note system, they kind of had the system for me, and you could replicate this with like a Google Sheet or something to do it. And you'll see that I filtered to my daughter. I got it to go through and pick the courses. And then as we move through this, we got to this part. And this is the part that got me super stinking excited, right? Because it was like my Post-it system, but easier and more visual. Because see, it tells me how long we're spending up here. So 3 hours and 5 minutes, 3 hours and 35 minutes, and so I know also the recommended time for a third grader is 2.5 hours to 3 hours. So some of these you may see that we're going over a little bit, but I'll show you why I'm not too concerned about it, okay? And not only did my Alveary courses that I picked already show up in here, but I could make my own custom cards. And you'll see that I did those like Beast Academy Science, and I put in how long we're going to spend on it. But each one has how long we spend on it. So it would tell me. And this was genius because I saw one day where I had been doing the Post-its, and once I got in here, we were like 4 hours and 15 minutes. And then one day it was like an hour and 15. I was like, what the heck? So I love this feature that I can really go in and decide like how can we make this the most even for our family. So they're all in here, and then I got to pick what days of the week. And so this made it super easy for me. Now, also on here, not all of this is what ours looks like now. I've actually tightened it if you watch that video, but this is where I started. But then one thing I'll show you is like we have jump rope for 20 minutes. That's counted here. So really we're at like 3 hours and 10 minutes with jump rope. We're all doing that as a family going outside. So I guess you can count it towards it, but I'm not really going to count it towards it, right? So this was super helpful for me to see the big picture planning. How long are we doing? Once again, you can replicate this in a Google Sheet or with Post-its. For the last 2 years, I've done Post-its. This is the first year I had this. So I'm excited that that's what I did. Is first I lay out what are all the subjects? What do we want to learn? And on what days are we going to stick to it, right? And then I'll sit with it for a day, and then I'll come back and I'll kind of finesse it, and then I'll sit with it for a week, and then I'll finesse it, and then I'll lock it in. And then it's locked in. And we have this new rule where we will evaluate every 4 weeks, every 8 weeks, and every 12 weeks. But I will stick with a calendar for 4 weeks to make sure that it is working. I think one thing that I found myself doing last year is like bouncing around to too many curriculums, changing my schedule too much to a point where I never got it to where it would actually work for me. And I don't do that in business, so I don't know what I was doing in homeschool, right? So rules now is every 4 weeks, every 8 weeks, and every 12 weeks we'll evaluate. And then we will go from there. Because we are a Charlotte Mason family, we'll do 3 terms. So that means we're evaluating pretty much every month and then every term to make sure our schedule is working for us, or if there's any like subjects that we're just not like, it's not fitting for us or something, but we are going to give it a solid go for 12 weeks, but we can make adjustments after 4. I think that's one of the tricks is just sticking with something long enough to actually make it work, right? Instead of just throwing the baby out with the bathwater. So then after we have the big picture plan, the next thing that I needed to do is actually like, how does this fit into our life? And that's when I made our timetable. And this, I went straight to an Excel sheet, and then I made it really pretty with Canva, right? But I want to show you what our timetable looks like. And I'm going to give you this timetable. Okay, so here is Riley's timetable. I started this with a Google Sheet, and then I brought it into something pretty that we can use and have a visual. Before I go into that, I will say that we found out last year that my daughter is she does really well when she can check stuff off. So as I was making this, I made it pretty for her, not me. Like for me, I would have just stuck it in my binder, printed it out in a sheet, and it would have been totally fine. This lives on our fridge now, so she knows what to expect each day. Then we print it out, and it lives in our kitchen so she can see it. It's in my binder. My husband has a copy of it. That way, like everyone knows what we should be doing at what time of what day. Now, I'm not a big fan of time blocking or timetables for my work, but one thing I found is my husband and my daughter thrive off of them. So I also like to tell them that this is a loose schedule. Like we want to get everything done around the same time, but like we can't use this as like the word, right? This cannot be what we live and die and by. We have to also recognize that there will be things that come up. There will be bad days. There will be days that we need to adjust. There may be a day where, like, I have a conference call or something like that and I can't do my section. So this is a perfect week, what it would look like. But that doesn't mean that it's every single day we follow it to a T. But our goal is to follow this 90% of the time, right? But I just want to let you know. Also, as I show you this, this is not how Charlotte Mason would set up a timetable. Okay, this is not even how Alveary would suggest doing it. There's supposed to be things that are done in the afternoon and all that. We have found what works for our family. So as I show you this, I would not take this and install it directly into your homeschool. I would take it, look at it, and be like, how can I make this work for my family? Because I think that's a big thing is when we try to put someone else's schedule in our life, but it doesn't look the same, that's when it fails. So as I go through this, no, it's probably not how Charlotte Mason would have set it up. It's not how the Alveary would set it up. It's like if other people that are Charlotte Mason YouTubers or whatever looked at it, they probably be, oh my gosh, this woman has no idea what she's doing. But here's the deal. It works for our family. And that's what's most important, right? So as I show you this, I'll take you through it and there are colors. So the white is just like one parent will be doing it or independent. So right now she's in 3rd grade. Most of it is us doing it with her, but that just means one parent. The like greenish yellow, that means that it's a family. So even some Bodhi will be involved in this, my 3-year-old, but that means we're all going to do it together as a family. And then the pink is like free time and stuff. You also don't come at me and say there's not enough free time on here because there's also gaps of time that are not shown. Okay. So she gets a ton of time outside. They're outside all the time, and tons of free, but also we find that she does really well with structure. So when we have more stuff, she does better than if there's a bunch of empty space. Okay. So once again, do what works for your family. So you'll see, we start our morning at 7:30. My kids get up at 6:30. It's not ideal, but it works also because of work. So she gets up at 6:30. They do breakfast, all that. And then me and her downstairs at 7:20 and usually like starting at 7:30. So I'm the one that does literature with her. So our novel study, lit, mythology, that's what we're doing, the Alveary, and then Thursday. So that's pretty much we're reading, we're doing our copy, our narration, that's happening during that time. Then we go into morning time. This will be the first time we're introducing my 3-year-old to our morning time. So he will be coming down with us and we will start doing some of our family subjects. Now, we're not going to do all of these together. Either me or my husband will take my son to the other room and do his little preschool stuff, but we are going to try to do a lot of this together. Like poetry, we'll do the solfa. I don't know how to pronounce that. Solfa, or those hand games and stuff, musical games with the Alveary. We're going to do those together. We're going to do like his calendar time together. And then on Monday, we're doing 50 famous people. I'm reading one story out of there. And so we'll do that together. And then we'll also have like his story. So it'll be like if we're doing apples, an apple picture book. So we're going to do all that together on Monday. You'll see as it goes through poetry. And then once they go, then we'll do recitation together though. Riley and I will do that so she can focus on it. We'll do recitation. And then same thing on Tuesday, except now we add in music appreciation. So my little man will be joining us for that. Folk songs he'll be joining. Picture study, we're going to give him his own print. Like we don't expect anything out of him, but he can hold it and find the colors or whatever. So we are going to try to do a lot of that morning together. Composer study. Recitation will be the one that we don't include him in because I want her to be able to focus on that. And then our bird study. So that's our morning. We'll do that together. Then one of us will take the little one and finish up doing his preschool stuff. And then the other parent, for the most part, it will be me for this. We'll do 8:40 to 9 with geography. Now, some of our geography coming up is very compass heavy, I noticed. So like my husband likes to do that kind of stuff. So he's going to take her for those. And then I'm going to take my toddler. So we'll kind of go back and forth, but it's just one parent. History will always be me. And then we only do history and geography 4 days a week. So then on Friday, we moved our Spanish to there. So we'll just go straight into Spanish. And then Riley and I do math. next. So we're going to go into that. And then I go to work. So at 9:30, I'm in my office. This is a little bit of a change. I'm used to being in my office by 9, but because of adding on Bodhi and some of our morning basket, now we're going to I'll get into my office by 9:30. And then so it's my husband with the kids from there. They do snack, free time, like whatever. And then at 10, while Bodhi's like doing his thing, this is when Riley will do her cursive, her, depending on the day, either fix it grammar, ladder and logic. Those are just like workbook type things. She loves doing those. She does those on her own. So we don't need to do that. Fix it grammar, she does with my husband. And then on Fridays, I have a light day on Fridays, so we're going to do Beast Academy science together during that time. And so that's when we're going to do like our cool experiments and stuff like that. Then they have lunchtime, free time, all that. Then they quiet time. And then she comes out when my little one's still sleeping, and my husband does all about spelling, all about reading with her. And from there, they'll move into general science or art or natural history. If I don't have anything going on, I like to pop in if I can, but usually that's my husband. And then on Fridays, though, we'll do handicrafts as a family. And then at 2 o'clock, it's free time. Like she can go do whatever she wants. She can go play with neighbors outside, whatever, except this year on Monday and Wednesday, I can be done by 2:45. That's why it says 2:45 plus. I can be done by those days. So as a family, we're going to do Alveary's jump rope and the playground songs and rhymes as a family. So we're going to do that. And then where it says evening or other lower Spanish, we're going to do after dinner. We're just going to see how it goes. Spanish is not, we all want to learn it so bad, but it never goes well for us. So we're thinking like after dinner, it would be a good thing between after dinner and bath times. We'll see. And then sewing, me and her after dinner, we'll go sew on Thursday. So that's what works for us. Like I said, this is not probably Charlotte Mason approved at all, but this seems to work really well with us. So we'll have this put on the fridge in my binder. Everyone has this. This is kind of like if we had a perfect week, this is what it would look like. So you've seen like big picture, how I go through and pick the courses. Then you saw how I was using Alveary to make sure I wasn't getting like wonky with the times. Then I go in and actually create our timetable, which I'm going to link up the Canva template below. So you have that, you can edit it. It'll still say Riley and everything, but you'll have the template so you can go put in all of your Charlotte Mason curriculum or any curriculum that you want to use. There, you have that timetable now, that homeschool timetable. Then the next thing is, how do we plan this out on a weekly to weekly basis? This is where I have always been a homeschool nest planner. Like I love their notebooks. I've used those. I've also used Erin Cauldron. And so I always go back to School Nest though, because I just love to support local. And in there, I actually plan out our weeks in there, and I'm still doing that. But when I joined the Alveary, we also got access to Syllabird, which I think anyone can get Syllabird. But with the Alveary, it's cool because all the lesson plans are directly loaded into it. So I am still writing down ours in the planner, but I'm using Syllabird as our guide. And I'm going to show you that. And then I'm going to show you why it's so important for me and saves me so much time. If we go back up here, this is when our first week of school starts. It is July 27th. And so you'll see that all of our lessons for the day are in here. What's really cool is this is the Lost Library. That's something that like I already had that's not in Alveary. This is part of Hearth and Story. And so when I click here, but I put in what I want us to do. So narrate, and then I put the discussion question I have already in here, right? So I went in and added these. But then for Alveary's courses, if I go down to geography, the full like lesson plan was already uploaded here for me, and I can click map links and everything, which is so cool because I can access this from my phone, the computer. And that's the thing. Sometimes we homeschool upstairs. Sometimes we're in the homeschool room. Sometimes we're all over the place. The planner's always downstairs. So sometimes things don't get like checked off and stuff. But this shows us each day all the lesson plans. They're all in here. And then like the nature notebook, everything's in here, which is so cool. So I use this when I'm making notes in our paper planner of what we're doing. Because I also say like the paper planner we are using this year is a scrapbook. that's one of the things I want to get better about is documenting like what we're doing. So my daughter has kind of like a yearbook to look back through. And so we are going to be using that. So I still want to do paper planner, but then have this, and honestly, this is probably what we'll use more than anything. And then what's cool about this though, is I can see our progress. So if I go to plan, you can see all of our courses are in here, right? And so as we move through, we'll check them off. It also shows me the date of when we're supposed to be on that lesson, which I think is really cool. So if we go up here, this is how I was able to geography. We are doing geography 2 and geography 3 with Alveary in 1 year. So when I said 3 times a week, it shows me that just to get through 2, we're going to be at 24 weeks. And I was like, okay, that's where I was like, we're going to have to catch up 4 weeks somewhere to be able to finish both of them. And that's where I knew that we can do it over like Christmas or fall break or something like that. Instead of not having something to do, we can have geography to do. And then from 25 to 36, it will fill in, but this will automatically update. And so I can see like, as I'm going through what our progress looks like, which is really, really nice for me. And then when you come in here, you can do things like add your vacation. So I can put like fall break, and that's in there. So it adjusts. I have work. So like we won't be doing school this week. So then it adjusts your plan so you know the dates. So when we go back to calendar and I go over to, it's like September this week. So I have a work live event. So we won't be homeschooling this week because my husband will also be helping with it. So there's nothing. So I just put my vacations and it shifts everything. So for me, this was so worth the extra $100 with Alveary because of this. But you can do Syllabird even if you don't have it. The nice thing is all the lesson plans are automatically uploaded into this, which got me excited. So that's how we plan our weeks is everything's uploaded in Syllabird. And like I said, I can make, so like back here, I was able to make my own. So, and know what pages and stuff. So each week I only have a few things I actually have to plan. So I'll write them out in the planner and then my husband has access to this. I have access to it and we can check it off as we go. So I'm excited about that. And if you need grades and stuff like that, they have that. Of course, we don't need that right now, so it's not a big deal. But what got me so excited is every single week I have been filling out this School Nest like weekly plan thing. It's like an individual notebook that they have. And I've been filling it out because I told you my daughter likes to check. She likes to know what's going on and she wants to check off what she's done for the day. So I've been writing down every single week and it takes me about 30 minutes to complete this. And it's like a lot of repetition, right? And then I was like, I could create something on Canva, but like then I'd spend way too much time doing that. When we have this, then I can export it and print it into this, which this gets me excited because now there's little check boxes. And so she can go up and she's like, oh, we have the lost library. So I'm reading because she also wants to know how many pages we're reading. So it says page 1 through 11. So when we're done, she can check it off. So she can check her stuff off. This will be up on our fridge every single week. So she'll check all of her stuff off and she'll know when she's done with all her schoolwork. So this alone was probably worth the extra $100 with the Syllabird. If we don't do anything else, the fact that I don't have to write this up each week has been a huge saver. So we also do this. So up on our fridge are these two things. Here's like the big glance, what subjects we have. And this is like what we're actually doing. This has like the assignments on there. So she knows. So that's how we plan. So to wrap things up, how we schedule our entire Charlotte Mason feast is 1, we pick the courses we want. 2, we actually follow the time spots that like Charlotte Mason, short lessons, and remembering I don't have to teach her everything. I just have to introduce. And really with history, she's going to go through this 3 more times. Like that's the big one. I've just had to let things go is with history and coming to the fact like she's going to go through this 3 more times. Like there will be more time to go deeper on these subjects as we get older. And so keeping the lesson short, like Charlotte Mason said, creating the timetable that works for our family, not necessarily what goes by what Charlotte Mason said, but one that I know works for us for keeping on with the schedule for at least 4 weeks and trying to optimize it, but not throwing it out just because we have a few bad days. And then 5, really scheduling out my week, using the Syllabird, and then having this so she can check it off. This has been huge for us. I'm excited that now it's printed for me instead of me writing out everything. And so that is how we plan the entire feast and get it done. And I know everyone has different situations. I have one child right now that's in formal education, a toddler running around. I also only do like half the homeschooling. My husband does the other half. So your situation may not work perfectly with how I have it lined up, but I hope you were able to grab some nuggets of this and how this can fit into your family. And if you want to see any other videos, let me know below on certain subjects with scheduling or anything like that. And then also, I will drop our Canva link so you have the template in the description box so you can grab that and create your own timetable. I hope this works. Let me know what was the most helpful for you. Make sure you subscribe so you see all of our upcoming videos. And I can't wait to hear about your timetables.